Hey, good morning, good afternoon, guy, and welcome back for. Thank you for coming back to another show. I don't even know what to call my show yet. Maybe a real estate talk show, maybe the cash flow agent show. But anyway, I'm super excited, to bring on today, an icon team leader. He has a huge amount of production. He has able to build a team, and I'm just super excited to get to have a chance to meet him. To know him a little better, and then whatever come out of the conversation, I think everybody here listen to, we can all leverage it and use it to your business. So Thai, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much, Hui, for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. I have an idea for you. What you're going to call your show?
Sure,
Cash
sure.
Flow Agent. Okay.
There you
got
go.
to it. Because after all, this is what we all wanted to be here all about, right? It's about
Awesome.
making the money to support our family or to support whatever desire you wanted to support, and that you need cash flow, of course.
Thank you, right, welcome to another episode of the cash flow agent show, right? And
I
we have
still am a great guy.
So Thai, thank you. See, you already see that Thai is already giving us so much nugget here, and I just cannot dive into the getting to know you a little more, Thai. To be honest, my group is getting bigger, right? I have 300 agents now. This is not a number, right? These are hardworking, very smart people, very talented people in my group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually using the show, to get to know you a little better as well, right? Because when everybody in the group know each other, we all work together, a lot better.
Yes. Yeah. And I tell you, like I said, I appreciate for being online with you today. I heard a lot of things about you through, we know each other, but it's sometimes it's better to hear it from a third party where it's like, oh, do you know this guy? You know that guy, or whatever it is, and your name always come up all the time. So.
Oh wow, awesome! Thank you so much. But yeah, Thai, just getting started. Could you tell us a little bit about what is your professional life before real estate? Do you born to become a real estate agent, or did you do anything before real
Oh
estate?
gosh, that's a long story. I tell you, the short answer is that I was a CPA.
Okay.
I was an accountant. Love my job as a CPA. I am still a CPA. I did that for probably about 20 years plus.
Okay.
Climbed the corporate ladder and working from, I say, anywhere between 9 o'clock to average about 11 o'clock at night. So
Wow.
one day I have an epiphany and say that, I need to change. Even though I love my job, but, I kind of neglected my family and so on. And that's kind of like the initial story of how I become a real estate agent. Before I become a real estate agent, I actually do a lot of real estate investing before that.
Oh, I love that. Wow. Did not know that at all.
Yeah, I decided to maybe take a break from corporate, and I call it semi-retire, but I know it's not. It's just a nice ring to it. I say I'm going to take it a little bit easy and just concentrate on real estate investment and acquiring multiple multifamily, and then go from there. And then I kind of changed my mind. I searched deep inside and myself tell me that I need to be in the middle of the conversation as always. And I say, well, the best way to be in the middle of conversation is to be in the conversation during the negotiation. And that's how I become a real estate agent.
Wow, that is amazing. So you actually, just like me, we have a similar background. We all start out as an investor, right? Investing mindset. And that just translates so much into, a real estate broker's business, because we understand what is the buyer go to, we understand what is exactly the seller go to, and we're gonna be able to advise them and give them our nuggets a lot better. And I did not know the fact that you're a CPA and you climb a corporate ladder, working from 9 to 11 p.m. as well. And real estate is gonna give you so much degree of time freedom.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't ask for a better job now. It's not that I'd say that corporate job is not good. It has its perk, of course, but now my schedule is much more flexible. I can navigate through the day and taking care of my family at the same time. So I'm a
That is
full-time real estate agent, by the way. Okay, don't get it wrong. I work 8 hours a day.
wow, that is amazing. Well, so if you don't mind, if you can just go back in time and describe your first challenge in your first few years of real estate and how you overcome that, because I'm sure that a lot of people they are watching this right now, they have a similar problem at you. They don't know how to solve it yet. And if you can just speak about that, the challenge you have and how you overcome that in the first few years, that would be really good.
Yeah, I say that there's a multiple challenge as a new real estate agent. As your viewer probably know, being a real estate agent is not really easy, especially during your first 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I start out as a CPA, and many of you might think a CPA is boring, but a lot of time, my job uh, working as corporate, I do a lot of negotiation.
Mm.
But I didn't know that I really have that skill or articulate a point of view for a client. Uh, um, so when I decided to be a real estate agent, I don't have any knowledge base per se.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a very short period of time, 6 months, I have to learn um, how to talk to people, learning the lingo of real estate, to make it seem as if I'm experienced enough, right? Because your client can smell it, far away that you're not experienced. Okay.
Yep.
So that is the biggest challenge. The second biggest challenge for me is that now I decided to become a real estate. Who's going to help me in the first 3 months,
Mm.
6 months, or a year, right? To kind of show you the rope. And lucky enough is that there's a guy that, we used to work in corporate together. He quit corporate. He become a real estate agent. And so I kind of joined his team, and I able to watch, people who has more experience than I do. That's how I kind of learn.
Yep.
But the most important thing is it's kind of like, I'll read. God, I probably read about 12, 15 books in a short period of time just to learn anything about real estate.
I love that.
Okay. So that's the first challenge, is just to understand and kind of understand the basic. The second challenge is, well, now you become a real estate agent, then where are you going to get the business from?
Yep. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about weekend in a
And I
little
have to figure out that real quick because I don't have any big friend. Well, I do have a lot of friends. Okay. But many people know that your friend is not going to give you business, maybe you in year 3, year 4, or something like that, your family members do. So then I
bit.
have to figure all those out, which I'm pretty sure you're going to ask me later.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the two biggest challenges that I have.
I see. I see. Yeah. So that is actually the next question about lead generation. But I just want to sum up your point. You mentioned a really good point, Ty. A lot of people they get into the business, they ask the question of how, right? But instead of asking the question how, if you ask a different question, the who, it's actually a lot more important than the how. If you just know who to look out for, who is going to be your mentor in the first few months, who is going to help you do X, Y, and Z, your business is going to grow exponentially, right? Instead of trying to figure out how to do everything by yourself. And then the
Yes.
second point, yep.
Yep. I think you hit the nail on the head. Is like Tony Robbins, just like Tony Robbins said, just follow the leader, right?
Yep.
Get a mentor. It shorten your track. I think that's between the do and die. Even though I like to think I'm smart, but then I scratch that out real quick and pretend that I know nothing.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Yep. And then the second point that you mentioned is that you read. There's a saying that reader is leader, reader is producer, right? There's so much information that get considered in the book, right? People they spend years, months, if not years, to write a book. If you just read the book, get your competency up. A lot of real estate agents right now, they jump into the market, they new, and they start advertising right away without knowing the competency, right? The actual work of doing real estate. And like you say, you can only go so much, and you can only affect your way so much until you hit a point. When you hit so sophisticated buyer and seller, they're gonna snip it out really quickly, right? So always work on your competency. Go to classes, go to conferences. We have an amazing EXP conference lately. You read, you keep training yourself on become a better negotiator, a better real estate agent, and then lead generation. I would say that would be the second part of the business, right? Get yourself competent first, and then after you know what the hell you're doing, and then you move on to the lead generation part. So I just love that approach. Unfortunately, I don't see a lot of that approach lately anymore.
Yeah. No, I had a team, or I had somebody who called me up and asked me for advice or doing consultations, one-on-one consultation. And the first thing that I always say is that, where do you get your knowledge base from? The first question that I ask.
Yep.
And most of the time they say, none.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Or from school. I say, no, that's not good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
And I tell you, this is partly joke, partly real. I probably read the first 3-4 months, probably 8 hours a day. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, where's the time that you do lead generation? Well, I read it like, after 7 o'clock to like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock or something like that. Those books just mesmerize me. And I just read it. It's just like so much information, right?
Yep.
And every book you read,
mm-hmm.
There's two parts to every real estate book you read. There's two parts to it. There's the psychology part, mm-hmm. the psychology of a real estate agent or a high producing agent. Very, very important. And once you get that in, then, the tackling and blocking of your day-to-day operation, basically. Okay. Yep. So absolutely important. I always tell them, read this, read that. That's how I was able to get my way through.
Awesome. You get a lot of golden nugget if you can just focus on the book and really listen to what the readers, what the author's saying. So I'm gonna say one more point, because you kind of recall me. If you follow Robert Kiyosaki, mm-hmm. he has a very famous saying by especially when you read the book, right? You don't read the book from your point of view. You read the book from the author point of view. And then you reflect it on the outer point of view and see what is really trying to say, to the audience. If you can just like kind of shift that mindset around, you're going to go to the book, with so many nuggets that you get instead of reading from your point of view, right? Maybe the one who's listening to this, you need to kind of play back this video maybe 3 to 4 times. Just really understand what I'm trying to say. Read the book from the outer point of view instead of your point of view. You're going to get so much out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You read the book, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You read the book, and then at the same time, you assess your capability, right?
Yep.
Because you read the book and you understand. You say, okay, this is all in theory, but does it apply to me? Do I have what it takes, right? And then let's say that you read the book. These are an action step that you need to do or assess your mindset, and you go checkbox, no checkbox. I mean, you don't have that particular skill. And that's how I do it when I go through those books, what is my shortcoming.
We need to have a class on how to read the book properly. Not a lot of people read the book properly lately.
Now, if you ask me to read a book, it's going to be a challenge because it's tough to find 8 hours a day.
I know, right? Yeah, but in the beginning, absolutely, guys, just dive in. Any book that you can read. The video can only take you so long, but if you actually spend time to read the book, it's going to be so good. Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the subject, let's hit the question that everybody is asking right now, right? Interest rate has been going up. If you in the business for the past 2 years, you can probably see that the volume, it has been, declining in general. But top real estate agent, they're gonna still be able to produce at a high level because they know how to focus on lead generate. So Thai, how do you lately? How do you do lead generation? And there's anything that you can share to the audience that is listening right now that can go out and lead generate and have consistent business? It doesn't matter if the market go up or go down.
Oh, that's a fully packed question. So
I know. Yeah. So break it down. Break it down.
Break it down. So let's start with a saying is that high producing agent producing a lot for a reason. because they have a process in place and they reassess those process all the time and changes all the time. Okay. And I'm no different, but let's talk about my history a little bit and kind of give you uh, a timeline of how I get here, from there get here. I've been in business for going 9 years now, and I produce on average by myself probably about, I say average about 70. I'm sorry, conservatively maybe 65 per year.
Wow, you mean 65? 65 how home?
Yeah, transaction.
Okay.
Just,
Wow.
No rental, just sell, buy and sell. And my first year is probably like 26 transactions, and then it just go up incrementally until now. So my first 3 years is really a challenge. My first 6 months is really a challenge because I don't know where to get my lead from. Okay. Just like many of us here, many of the audience here, the first 2 years is like you're struggling. And so what I do is like I started to, back then there's no internet, of course. It's not YouTube or anything like that. So which is basic, okay? I literally go and knock on the door every day in the summer heat. Okay, that's how I get the lead generation. And I do 4 open house a week, 4 open house, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Wow.
For a long period of time, maybe about 4 or 5 months. There's really 2 things in here is that to see what I have, what I have, what it takes to get there, right?
To get there, yeah.
Yeah, get there. That's the most important. I need to prove to myself that I do this for real, and I do those. Okay, doing an open house twice a week, twice a day is very, very tough. You go from one place, stake the sign on the second house, and then go open the house. In the summer, you're sweating.
I know, crazy.
Okay? So that's kind of like my lead generations. I didn't really want to reach out to my friends, to my family members, go against all advice. Okay. Then my second year is basically I actually do lead generations through realtor.com. Okay. And I can tell you that, it was my bread and butter for the next 3 or 4 years because it gave me a continuity of leads flow I can work on.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for any agents think about investing. How do you invest? Nowadays business is a little bit different. People invested in YouTube, through internet lead generations, to Google Click and all those things. Zillow is still there, Realtor.com still there. I think the lead source is a little bit different behavior now. So you need to think about that strategy of lead generating consistently. But as my business progressed, then I do a lot of repeat business or client referral. Nowadays, like maybe probably about 95% of my business come from repeat and referral. Yeah.
Wow, what is the journey? Yeah, so let me just sum it up. New real estate agent, first 1 to 3, 1, second and third year, you have to grind it out, right? Because you have no money. You need the business. Just get yourself on anything for free, right? So anything from door knocking, open houses like Thai did. If you're with eXp Realty, we have a ton of sources for you, right? If you just check out revenues.com, there's a ton of free resource for you when it comes to lead generation, right? You build that up, you build your clientele, and then when you have a little bit of more money to spend, you can go ahead and spend on realtor.com, you can spend on Zillow, you can spend on Google. There's a ton of places that you can spend on and get the lead coming from, right?
Yep.
But you have to prove it to yourself first, like, hey, I can do this for real, right?
Yeah.
If all else fail, hey, at least you can go back to what you already know. You can go back to door knocking, cold calling, open houses, because you've done those, you prove them to yourself, and it's going to work, right? So nothing is going to kill your business, right? Even though if you don't want to pay for Zillow anymore, right?
Yeah, I can tell you that my year 4, year 5, year 6, I spend on the phone cold calling or warm calling anywhere about 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, nowadays I don't have the same capacity and a little bit more selective in terms of client service, but that's what I do.
Yeah,
and I go back. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter how experienced you are. I still like to go back to that place that, making adequate phone calls every day. and consistent phone calls every day. So
wow. And then, your business now, because you spend the time to build it properly with a strong foundation, and then now you can reap the reward of your business, right? You can reap the fruit, which is the referral.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. I see a lot of agents, they start to, take shortcut, just to, get there faster. But really, if you just spend the time to build a strong foundation, and then you can reap the reward after. And it's going to be so much, easier to run your business in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. So you
Yep.
got to put in the work,
Yep. And I see that now you also have a team, Ty. Your team is also one of the highest producing team in my group. Could you tell us, like the pros and cons of running a team? A lot of agents right now, just like me, for example, right? We are really good solo agent, but then, we still deciding like, hey, should I keep going solo, or should I take a step back and, invest in, a team? So what would you say to those agents is in that boat, whenever they want to keep going solo or open up a team?
Yes, I totally agree. Being a solo agent is much easier. And not every one of us could be a team leader, I say. Because being a team leader, you have to think about your team member first. Whether if you're in the army, you do the same, right? Real estate agent, to me, I think the same, right? I have to. My first thought is my team member has to make money first before it comes to me. That's how I operate. Okay. So every decision that I make, I always think of my team member first. They make money. I'm probably like, as happy as they are if they're making more money than I do in terms of per transaction, right? It's very hard to do it's very hard to do 75 transactions a year, right? That's a different nature, but in terms of being a team leader, then that's how I operate. I think about my team member first. That's the upside is that, it gives you this reward of, kind of like being the leader. But you got to have the right attitude to get there. The downside is that not every team member is going to espouse to you the way you think. Okay, especially when you have a really high performing team members, is that they all have ideas too, and sometimes you have to be open minded and listen. Not sometimes, all the time, actually. You have to be open minded and listen to their thought, their suggestions, and implement. And in real estate, I don't know what anybody say. For me, I cannot change things in moment notice. I have to think through about the concept and XYZ. So that's a downside of having a team. Okay. The other downside, the biggest downside is that not every team member is going to be a performing agent. It is the 20/80 rules apply across
everywhere. Unfortunately,
a lot of frustration.
yeah.
Some of us like to be a leader, some of us not. If you don't like to be a leader, then be a single single agent. If you're like a natural leader, I'm not saying I'm a natural leader, I'm learned as you go, then having a team has its own reward.
I love this conversation, because it's like super honest. A lot of people, there's a lot of hype about, like, hey, let's bring a team, let's build a team. But sometimes, like I see it with my own eyes. Sometimes just being a solo agent, it's gonna actually, it's gonna net you more money in your pocket, right? And especially, with a structure like eXp Realty, you can actually be on a solo agent and gonna still able to build, and lead a very sizable revenue share group, right? So, for those that's listening, kind of, don't think that, building team is the only way that you can success, right? But if you look at the statistic, I believe that, for every 5 real estate team, only 1 or 2 is going to survive in the next 5 years. So before you form a team, really think through, it's like, hey, do I really be, going to put myself out there and build a team? Or, hey, if solo is good and, just keep doing solo, right? There's nothing wrong with being a solo agent with an assistant, with a virtual assistant, and then you can still do amazing thing, and you can just still net more in your pocket.
Yeah. Having a team is it's required a lot. You have to dedicate a large portion of your time to kind of like oversee the team.
Yep.
whether it is emotional or whether financial, all sort of things that involve with the team.
Yep. And they have this ego. They always have to keep up. Like, hey, my team is really high in production. I'm doing this and that. But when you look at their bottom line, I would say most independent brokerage, most team leader, when they look at their bottom line, they don't see money coming in, and that's why they have to keep internally producing, right? If you see a team leader that keep on producing personally, I know that the team actually doesn't make any money, right? It's just a sad fact that people they don't talk about, and I'm so glad that you bring it up. Super honest that people.
I think that's a very good point. I mean, I told my wife the other day is that having rewards from whether in my old brokerage Remax or new brokerage with EXP is very nice. It's very honored to have those, but at the end of the day, in my deep soul is that I don't need accolades, right?
Yep.
I just need myself to understand that you truly love the business.
I love that.
Care about your team member, and there's a viable path in whatever you do. Short run, long run. That is all matter. I don't really compare myself to it's like, oh, this person doing 100 transactions, I have to get there, because sometimes I purposely reduce my transaction count.
So much else in life.
Right. And so on. So it's really about, assess and reassess your process all the time.
Wow. What Thai just say right there is go, guy. Make sure you come back and rewind and don't compare yourself. There's a saying that, don't compare your chapter number 1 with somebody else, chapter 49 for this reason, right? Everybody, you're going to have your own success story. You cannot just compare yourself with with another, agent, right? You don't know what's going inside, right?
I truly don't. I know some high performing agents and so on and so forth. Love them to death, respect them. I truly don't allow myself to go there. Once in a while, I pull up the MLS list and I see am I in the top 200 or not? Okay, that's about as far. And why not? Okay, I ask myself that. I don't know. Who is in number 108 and I have to be 106. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I just ask, why am I not? That's it.
I love that. We stay competitive, but you can compare somebody, outside to your inside, right? You have no idea what's going on, right? I know a bunch of people.
Exactly.
I know a bunch of people that they produce on a high level, but they are super miserable, right? So don't compare yourself with other people. Right? You can close a couple deals a day, a month, go play tennis, spend time with family. It's just you have the most amazing life that you don't need people to know about, right? And I love that. Wow, Thai, so good, right? So moving on, since we kind of talking about the business and personal life, I know all those you from what you say, I know for a fact that you are super busy. So how do you manage between your business and your personal life? Could you share with us some of the time management, time keeping, and how do you keep yourself organized?
Oh, the more I said in this segment, the more you guys are gonna think that I'm really bad at personal life management.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I naturally a workaholic, from the onset, and one of my belief is that whatever you do, it doesn't matter. You got to love what you do. Whether I'm an accountant, whether I'm a real estate agent, because for real estate agent, I love being a real estate agent for a number of reasons. Is I able to guide an XYZ person, in this case it's client, from point A to point B. Okay, I'm right in the middle of conversation. I mentioned that earlier. But back to your question is, how do I actually manage things? I treat my real estate business as if I'm in corporate. Is that by 9 o'clock, almost always I'm going to be in my office already. Okay.
So good.
I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, sometimes 6. I'll take care of my kids, having breakfast and so on, and then drop off my kid to school. and come back and maybe go out to the garden, to the yard, and look at some flowers, get a little bit chill out, relax, and then I'll start working. So the first, from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, first hour is really about administrative stuff, kind of like scan what problem I have with my client, or potential problem, right? Or catch up with my assistant. And then in the afternoon, that's when I go client facing, like after 1 o'clock, actually. Okay.
Love it.
And then I tend to shut down at 6 o'clock. And then having dinner with my family, and then do exercise with my wife, and then watch TV for maybe an hour or so, and that's it. Eat the day. So that's how I manage.
Wow, I love that, and actually, Thai, we are so similar into this fact, right? A lot of people, they kind of let real estate consume them, right? They work 24/7, they are available 24/7 for their client. Not you, not me, right? We kind of structure, right? We kind of like the 9 to 5 thing, the corporate thing in real estate. So now, we kind of set you like, hey, I want to work really hard, in the morning, starting at 8 all the way until 6-7 p.m. and after that, everything can be wait, right? So that way thing, and it just works so better with your mind. You don't get consumed all the time by real estate.
Right. And I struggle with my family too. Of course, being a real estate agent, I don't actually control my schedule 100%. I control 90% of the time. I always give an example to my wife is if my client from New York flying down on a weekend.
Exactly.
I cannot say that, I have family time, but at least I can say, I can have a conversation with my family saying this weekend I'm not going to be available, or this Saturday or so. Or at least I can say, okay, let's tell my client, let's not come this week. If you can do it next week, that flexibility kind of help me manage the two dynamics that going through my life every day. So
absolutely. Sometimes you have to compromise, right? Give or take. Awesome, man. I love that. So I'm gonna ambush you with this 2 final questions, Thai. I didn't write you the question because I'm gonna ambush you. One is gonna be really easy, and one is gonna be really hard. Okay, so the easy one, have fun with it, and the hard one, you can pause about 30 seconds, take all the time you want. But I think it's gonna be a really good answer for you, right? So number one, easy. I think you already answered this. What do you do for fun besides real estate?
What do I do for fun? Fun for me is really a state of mind, a peaceful state of mind.
Oh, wow.
And, my days tend to be stressful almost every day, but part of my personal fun is that 7 to 8 o'clock, that's my time. Whether I do Tai Chi in the morning or maybe go out to the garden, that is my fun.
Yep.
Okay? The other part of fun is actually cooking.
Oh man, I love that. I did not know that about you.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really hear this from an Asian guy, an older Asian guy. Okay, but I do love cooking for the family.
Ooh, love that.
That's kind of fallen my responsibility for a long time, but recently I kind of like take it up to another level of cooking. Not just a basic, sugar, salt, and soy sauce or whatever it is, but just experience a harmony of ingredients. So that's just part of it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm waiting for my next invite, man. And I love that you have me time every day, right? A lot of people, they time block for work, but you actually time block for yourself, right? I love that. Just like my tennis time. When I'm on tennis court, hey, sorry, my phone is on my back. I'm gonna be unavailable for 3 hours, right?
Yeah, so that's my everyday, of course. In terms of traveling, I'd love to travel with my family. My wife, she loved, going vacations, and I certainly come enjoying the ride. I just like, the mother duck and, a bunch of ducks following around, that's me. So that's always fun.
I love that. Yeah. We forgot to mention spouse support in real estate is so important, right? Your spouse has to be on board with you, supporting in your business. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult, right? So kudos to all the spouse out there. to support, your partner in real estate, right? That is just amazing, an
Yeah.
amazing job to do. Yep. Awesome. All right. So the hard question, right? So you're gonna make a ton of money. You're gonna close so many houses. You're gonna have so many stock, in EXPI, because we have the stock program, that help you build up, this entire stock portfolio. You're gonna attract so many agents. You're gonna have a big revenue share group. You invest in real estate. You're gonna have so much rental portfolio, but you cannot pass any of it to your kid. You only allowed to pass one advice to your kid. What would that be?
Invest in your friend.
Oh,
And
say
your
that
network. Invest in your friend and your network.
All right. Oh, your network is your network. I love that.
Yes. I don't know who said this the other. I just learned this, and it just make me realize, it doesn't matter what school you go to, what college you graduated from, what degree you get. At the end of the day, it's really about how happy you are and how you live your life, whether you're a productive citizen and so on. And that just make me realize, I mean, I go to grad school, good school, and I thought that's it. And then I changed my career, 360, 180. Okay?
Yep.
And I built it something new. And then I realized that, oh yeah, I mean, I'm a good person, right? What the most important to me is, it's not really about, like money, college. Money is important. It's not that I'm saying it's not important, but then being happy, being in harmony with, the people that you actually interact and your family is probably the most important at this age of mine. And I think it should be at any age, because it does take a long time to invest in a relationship, building friendships.
Man, you just nailed right there, right?
And it's those people that you associate with is that the one that bring you to the next level. Okay.
I love that. Yeah. People invest in houses, invest in real estate, but they forgot the very one thing, right? This is the people business. And if that's one thing that you can only invest on, invest in relationship, right? Invest in the people around you. It's going to pay you so much dividend that you can never imagine.
Actually, yes. That is true. So get a coach.
Yep. And get a coach.
Connect with a good friend.
Man. Thai.
Invest in that relationship.
Thai, yep. We at the end of the show here, thank you so much for your time. For the people that are watching the show, if they want to reach out to you, if they want to learn more about you, your business, if they want to be mentored by you, what would be the best way to to get in contact with you?
Yes, I am all ears. Whether you're new or you're experienced, just call me. Cell phone is the best way, or text 281-701-5117.
Okay.
Can
you say that one more time slowly?
Yes, 281-701-5117.
Okay.
And if you want to send me a comment via email or question via email, then my first name last name team.com, Thai at ThaiTruong.team.com.
Yep, I'm gonna put that in the show note. But yeah, Thai, thank you so much, and I cannot wait to go enjoy your meal. Hopefully, I get an invite. And oh, he just get off. Oh, Thai, are you still there? Okay, maybe we need to cut the last part because he's off. Okay, if you're speaking, I cannot hear you. Yep. Okay, Lavi, let's go ahead and cut the last part. Thai, are you back?